Hello and welcome back to Galactic Reviews. And
Yay!
we just recently got done watching the Loki season 2.
Yes, we
So
did.
Thomas has his Thomas has his notes. I already saw them.
yeah.
It's not a lot. It's a little bit
Well,
though.
get ready for the debate, guys. Get ready for the debate.
What were your thoughts, Thomas? Unless you want me
Well,
to
I
start off.
mean, how do y'all want to do this? Like a non-spoiler out of 10? What y'all think?
Uh yeah, spoilers if you wanted to watch the show. Why did you click this video? Um but spoiler alert for a show that's streamed that you can basically go watch at any time.
Age before beauty, I guess. Payson started off.
That's the beauty?
No, age before beauty.
Oh, I was illiterate. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I guess I'll go. If I had to give a one word saying to somebody who is about to watch this in preparation for this, I would say one word: don't. This is not. I don't think this is. I don't think it's horrible. I don't think it's good. I have problems with it. I think the writing is horrible. The cinematography is okay. The music's not horrible. I thought, as far as actors go, I thought Tom Hiddleston, Owen Wilson, and Short Round did well. I don't think their characters were written well, but I thought they did good job. I thought Sylvie was insufferable. I thought Victor Timely was annoying. I didn't like Major. Not what's his name, Jonathan Majors. He who slapped his girlfriend. I didn't really care for him at all. He who cannot act. I don't think he's that good as Kang. I think they've written his character poorly. Sylvie is still annoying, always has been. Just more annoying in season 2, and with Loki and Sylvie's relationship, it feels like we're missing a big chunk of whatever quarrel they're in that we never got to see. Um, the TVA is somewhat annoying. Yeah, I'll leave it at that for now. I'll leave it at that. I'll save most of it for when Thomas and Ethan yell at me because saw both your faces when as I was
I'm
talking.
not gonna
Thomas
yell.
Thomas kind of already knew me and him had talked about this previously a little bit. So me and him kind of knew
Mm-hmm.
our own positions, but we were debating about you, and I had said you would probably lean more in Thomas's direction, but I could see you
That's
flopping
right.
either way, and I was right again. So
Yeah. Well,
I'm
Ethan.
gonna. I think I'd rank this I think I'd give it a 3.5. Debating about a 3 or 4. 4 seemed too high, 3 seemed too low because I did like the 3 actors, and that's about it. Um, I'll go ahead and say 3. Why not? I'll say 3. One for each of the actors. That's about.
I will disagree with you with the writing. I thought the writing was pretty good. There are some open holes though for me when it came to this show, and I think that I don't know if they are going to continue with it. I don't really know. I kind of hope they don't and they leave it alone because Loki is right now in a sit down position right now, kind of like Thanos.
No pun
So
intended.
so it's more of like, what do we do now that Loki is currently this weird Time Lord thing, and it's odd for me, honestly, because he killed all of time, and now he's got it all back together. That part just confused me. Really interesting though how it like how that played out though. I don't know how that. It's like we don't really get an explanation as to how Loki is doing all of this, how he's able to like, and oh, by the way, spoiler, but how he's doing all of this with his like his power that he was given, I guess. So it's really odd how it's like this is like going on, but I thought that was pretty cool. It provides a lot of mystery, which is what I thought was really cool with this show. Um, I think I do agree with Payson on the Sylvie. I don't Slivy, whatever her name is. I don't really like her.
Sylvie. Sylvie.
Sylvie, yeah. I don't really like her character, even though she's pretty much Loki, but as a girl. I don't like her, but I will say like she does do things that are pretty cool, pretty Loki, I guess. I don't know. But it's like for me, I just don't know about like what direction is she looking at? Where is she going, you know? It's like for me, it's like she's just a character just to be there at this point. Which is, I guess, I mean, sure, maybe she doesn't have a direction. Maybe she doesn't have it. I mean, some characters are like that. I did like Mr. Timely. I thought Mr. Timely was really cool. Acting, it was okay. Wasn't the greatest in my opinion, but I thought it was pretty okay. I like Mr. Timely. His stutter wasn't really good. I will say that. But I will say as a character, very interesting. But there I could have completely sworn that he was gonna die a hero. Then I realized, wait, that wouldn't make sense because of the timeline. So I don't know. But I also like how it was a callback to end of season 1, where we see Sylvie kill off Kang the is it the Destroyer? Kang the Conqueror? Is
It's
that what
just
it
called
is?
he who. It's just
King the
he
He
who
who
Conquerors.
remains.
remains.
King the
All right,
freaking Conqueror.
whoever.
Well, it's he who
We all
remains
know who he's
then.
talking about.
Loki. Yeah.
He he who remains, whatever his name is.
He
But
who can
the thing
act.
is with me, huh? I mean he can't really act. I will say that. But
Mm.
I will say I will say very very interesting character, and I'm excited to see where he goes as a character, cuz we honestly don't know, cuz we saw how like, oh yeah, that's true. We don't even know how. We aren't even explained how Loki's able to time slip, which I didn't really get anything on how we got to see him time slip. I don't see why or how he can time slip. What powers does he possess so he can use the time slip? But it is pretty cool to see that he's able to control it. He's able to do all of these things, and he's pretty much a god of time, really. I mean, it's really cool to see how he's able to do all that stuff. I did like the characters. Now, there was a bunch of things that I think in this show weren't actually like, there wasn't like oh, this is who actually did. Like, for example, one of the things that I saw was who wrote the TVA book. And I think that's the biggest problem we have right now, because it's pretty much a huge loop right now. So I don't know if there is a beginning point or an end point with this loop, or it's just a loop. I don't know. I don't really know how that one works, but I will say it is a very interesting concept, and I'm here for it. I did like Short Round's character. I loved Owen Wilson's character. Um, what's his name again? I forget.
Mobius.
Mobius, yes. Mobius, phenomenal character. I hope this isn't the end for Mobius, but Mobius is a great character with great knowledge, and he is just an absolute genius. I just hope that Mobius gets the chance to be able to do what he needs to do as a father and a character as well, because he's a very great character, and I'm very happy that they got Owen Wilson to play this character, because he is a really good actor. I mean, if you've ever seen Cars 1, 2, 3, phenomenal actor, voice actor. But one of the things that Owen Wilson does really well with Mobius is that he actually like gets into the character, and he does a phenomenal job portraying it in his own eyes. And he's doing a very fantastic job with this character. So with that, I think I think Mobius's character, I hope it continues, and I hope it does a very good job in the future. Trying to think of anybody else. Obi? Obi, is that his name?
Yep.
Short Round's character? Yeah.
Ouroboros.
Obi, I thought Ouroboros, yeah. Obi, I thought was a really interesting character. I felt like when it came to him, he was only there for knowledge, and he didn't really help situations sometimes. Especially when we were like, Obi, what do we need to do this? I don't know. And then it's like that's what he would do most of the time. But I did like his character. He did a fantastic job with this character, trying to figure out every trying to help figure out everything, and he did a great job with everything, with all that he was able to do. So, with that, I think this was a great show season, but I don't know the direction that this thing is heading, especially since Loki is sitting on a throne with all these green vines around him. I don't know where it's headed, but
That's
I will say I like it. I liked it, and I think it's going to go different places. So for that, I'll give it a 7
mm,
out of 10.
mm.
10 minutes later,
Sorry,
Thomas,
that
what
was
do
a
you
lot.
think?
Yeah. Yeah, that was good old yap session, but you had some good things. I thought it was pretty good. It had its pros and cons, like most shows do. I think it did a lot of things well, but I also think it fell off in some areas and it didn't really deliver in some areas. So I have a little pros and cons list. So I'm gonna just start off with the cons here. Some stuff does not make sense in the show. I'd say time slipping, I just looked it up. It kind of makes sense, but you don't really see how you can control it or how that really works. And you also don't see like how Loki can do all these things when no one else can. Like I wish that was explained more. Another con is this is nothing like season one, which it's fine. Like that doesn't really bother me, but Marvel went ahead and said this is like two parts of a book. It's really not. It's just like two different books, which I'm fine with it. I like season two as much as, the average person. I like it. And one other thing is Sylvie is one of the worst characters in this show. Probably the worst character in the show. She makes all of like the wrong choices time and time again. And she just does these things where, oh, she's willing to kill He Who Remains like at the end of season one, but then she sees Victor Timely and then doesn't want to kill him then for no real reason other than he looked scared, which is a terrible reason for someone. If you're gonna do that to that character, just keep it consistent the whole time. Don't just change it like that. And then she's doing all this thing where it's like Loki is literally telling her, if we don't do this, everything just gone. We don't have that existence. And it's like, it's not, we don't exist anymore. And then she's just like, but at least we'd have a choice. And it's like, well, no, we wouldn't because that's just your choice in the matter. So it's like, it's not really a thing. I do like how Loki changed the equation though. And in that, let's get into some pros. So first off the bat, the three actors that you mentioned, Payson, all three of them were just hit after hit after hit. They did not miss a performance at all. Um, Camera work was amazing. There was a lot of one shots, a lot of scenes that was just like incredible. I was really looking at the TV like, wow, this is amazing. This is great. And whew, another one is Loki's arc. We see his continuation from Thor all the way to Loki season two, and there's just like a lot of references, especially in the last episode, of how he's going through of the other shows and movies. So we get a lot of references to that in the final episode of Loki season two. And we get his arc and we get how he wants a throne and he wants to rule. And then you see how he shifts and he just doesn't want to be alone anymore. He wants to have friends and stuff. And then he finally gets what he wants. He gets his throne, but then it's the last thing that he wants and like how he is alone. I will say that I do think that this needs to be it left me wanting more of it, and I think that's really good for the MCU because a lot of MCU stuff they're like there's so much fluff and so much like just like messiness that you're just like you don't want anymore because it's just like you're being force fed right now. But with this,
Marvels.
yeah, well, I thought the Marvels was okay, but um that's not it's not the Marvels review, it's the Loki season two review. Yeah, you reinforced it a lot. So with this, I thought like I was wanting more. I was wanting some more things answered. I think it completes Loki's arc real well, but I don't think we're done with the character. But I do want him to like kind of just like kind of rest for a little while, like how we had with Tom Holland Spider-Man after the end of the trilogy. Like we're gonna get him again, but like we haven't had him in 2 years since 2021. So like just give him like a few years, let it really resonate, and then we can like jump back into it. Yeah, so some of y'all had some like I think Ethan, you had a question about like time slipping. I don't really understand it either. I looked it up and it was like it doesn't really make that much sense. Like a lot of the show, it doesn't make sense. But time slipping, it said it was because of the chaos that was unleashed from the sacred timeline, and then as a result of Sylvie sending them back in time. Which I mean, I guess like it's not the best explanation. I don't really like it, but whatever. Another thing is we don't really know why Victor Timely is in it. Like I disagree with you, Payson. I think he did really like pretty good at acting, but we don't really know why he's there because like he kind of does nothing except answer questions, but some of the questions weren't really needing answered, to be honest. But yeah, that's about it. There's more stuff, but we'll get into it as we talk about this more. But yeah, I'd give it like a solid 8 out of 10. It like its problems are like really bringing it down, but like it has some great moments just with like the scenes, the character development with some of the characters, not all of the characters, but it just has some great moments. But I'm giving it an 8. I like it more than Ahsoka, and I don't like it as much as what's a good. I don't like it as much as probably No Way Home. So it's kind of in that range. So yeah, that's my review of Loki season 2. I thought it was good. Definitely waiting for more of that. Let's get on into some discussion stuff. We've all said our piece. Let's dive on it.
I'm just curious, Payson, what was like your like least favorite parts of the series or of the season?
The whole
Yeah,
thing. I don't
yeah, but
Okay.
like specifics, like tell us like what
like
made you not like
specifically.
this.
Well, I very much vehemently dislike Sylvie's character, in which she essentially
I will
ruins
say
the multiverse and yet doesn't
that is
care.
something that is something that we've all had common ground on, which I think shows how bad it is that we all just agree.
It could have been her character could have been well written enough to for that to be the case where she just wants to have the freedom to live all by like not have a problem with what she does or anything. And that could have been something to be done well, but I think it was just well, first off, the way that her character was portrayed in season one, and then the horrible writing that the actress has been given. Because I don't know how good or bad the actress is, because the writing's just been that terrible. But that is probably the worst, the part I hate about this show the most is specifically Sylvie. I didn't like her at all when she was well, she's still kind of she isn't as much of the focal point in this season as she was in last season, which is something I like more than the first season. But she is still in it way much more than I would have ever wanted her character to be in it. She essentially dooms the universe or basically the whole timeline and seems to not care about it, even though she says lives are at stake, even though Loki says lives are at stake here, and then gets mad at the TVA for killing billions and zillions of people. And she's doing the exact same thing. Her character is stupid in that respect. The TVA has
Yeah.
killed millions of people, or billions of trillions, zillions of people. And now all of a sudden they're worried about zillions of people. I just find that odd and weird.
Well, I mean, they didn't really know,
No, they knew. They
to
knew they
be
were killing
honest.
people. I mean, I don't know how else what do you mean they didn't know?
I mean, reset, they didn't really think about how the fact that it was lives. and they were
I
just
mean, they
resetting, and
had
that's
to.
how they're told.
They had to. Because Mobius even acknowledges it in the 6th episode. Like, they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, it's the tough choices, but they're saying it's for the timeline when they realize that's the whole point. They realize that, oh, it's not for the betterment of the timeline. They think, oh yeah, we can just they're killing they think that they're killing lives for a reason, and then that gave them purpose. And then
Yeah.
that's the end of season 1 that they were actually doing it for like no reason. And so
No, they
yeah,
were
they're still
doing it for a
it's a little
reason.
messed up.
They were still doing it for a reason. They just now all of a sudden disagree about what that reason is.
Yeah, for no like it's for no reason really. Some to
Yeah,
keep
but that
yeah,
shouldn't make them
it's a bad
automatically shift their morals into going into killing bad when they've been doing it the whole time.
yeah, no, it should. If they're like, oh yeah, because they found out the reason, then they disagreed with the reason. They didn't know the reason before. I don't think what they did was right. Like they're still bad, but they've gotten better because they're not pruning anymore. That's what Loki fixes at the end. Anything else? Because like I don't know, you gave it a 3 out of 10, and you've given me like
They
one
shifted,
character.
they did a 180
Yeah,
in a span of maybe a day because time flows differently, according to what you said last time.
I mean, I actually never said that. Speaking of, there was an episode where we did a Loki review, and y'all were all getting upset about how time doesn't flow in the TVA. We had a whole discussion. Yeah, I was rewatching Loki season 1, and time flows differently. It doesn't say that time doesn't flow. So there's a timeline in the TVA 'cause that's how time works, but it flows differently. So boom, doesn't really make sense, no, but it's a better explanation than time doesn't flow, which was misinformation. You're welcome, guys. But I don't know. I just don't. I thought you'd have. I don't know. Maybe just getting into it. Thought you'd have more reasonings.
I like how you keep on saying, I thought you were just getting to it, but I thought you'd have more reasonings every single time. I like say maybe a couple reasonings. And then you said, hey, why did you not like it? And then I get into it and I say one of my more profound reasonings as to why I didn't like it. And then you get mad because you're like, oh, you only said 2. Well, I only had time to say 2. Thank you. King acts differently. His season 2 counterpart at the 6th episode acts very differently than his counterpart, I think, in season 1. I could be mistaken, but it seemed to act very differently. Whereas the first season 1, he kind of acted a little bit weird and off-putting to some degree. And this one, he acted a little bit more cold and callous.
I mean,
So I think that is a
continue. I'll tell you
misstep.
later.
Oh, okay, thank you. I think Loki cries most of these episodes. I don't know, like he cries. That's this whole turn moment is he's crying at a bar. That's awesome. That's something we love to see a hero do. I don't like that at all. I like how Loki's acting more
Is that a
feminine
reason?
and Sylvie's acting more masculine. It's always great to have in a
Not
character.
really, but all
Yes.
right.
He's crying. What?
I hate to break it.
He lost all of his friends.
What friends? He had
Hold
been
on there,
with them
bud.
maybe a week.
No, it was a while.
No,
All
it
the time they were
was.
doing research. It was a while. It wasn't a week. Are you serious?
Yeah, it was about a week, dude. It's not. It goes.
No.
Season 1 goes right into season 2.
Yeah. And they spend all of season 2, all of season 1, up until the very end of season 2. And it
How
was
long
taking
do
a
you
while.
think that is? How long do you think that is?
I'd give it a solid 2 months between season 1 and the end of season 2, where like they're not. And also, you look at who Loki is, his character. His whole thing is like no one really like believes in him, no one trusts in him, no one gives him the benefit of the doubt. Mobius did, and that's why it was really cool when he went in time and had that talk with Mobius about who lives and dies. That was such a good scene. But
It makes
yeah, I mean
sense for
like it
Mobius, but
was
Mobius only. You might be able to say OB if you want to push that, but that's a hard push. But Loki only really is friends with Mobius.
and OB. So that's 2. So that's friends. So it
Did-
still works.
what
if
did I
that's how you're gonna
freaking
put
just
it.
say? OB, if you want to push for it, it's a stretch, but you could say
Yeah.
OB.
Yeah. So I'm saying that's 2. So friends plural, and then you get friends. So it makes sense if that's how you want to look at it.
Okay. Arguing with retards. Okay. Let's see here.
I mean, you can say that all you want, but so far all you've done is like get mad for no reason and then kind of just cry about it. And then all I need is like some good talk
Is
and
your
some good
face
reasoning.
frozen,
But
Ethan? Is your face frozen?
I really thought Thomas was about to pull it on me, saying I was the only retard, and he would be right. I was really thinking Thomas would say, "I'm not a retard. The only retard here is Ethan." I thought that's what he was gonna do. So
The writing is horrible. The dialogue
how
is
so?
crap. Well, you
I
guys have
agree
already
with the
said.
writing, not so.
You guys have already said
I agree with
there
the
are plot
mm,
holes throughout this thing, so
yeah.
you guys agree with me on that.
I agree with the writing. Not so much the dialogue though.
Oh
I
yeah,
think I don't know how
my favorite part was when they explained something and it shouldn't make any sense, but Loki just says, "Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you for telling me that. I
the
wouldn't have been able to figure that
they
out."
Dave Filoni'd it.
Yeah, they really did.
I mean some of the things. All right, how would you explain it?
They Dave Filoni'd it.
There's no way to explain it. They never do explain it. Loki has gone through time slipping, and they can't seem to explain it because they don't know how he got it. He seems to have gotten it from Kang. We don't know how Kang gave it to him. We don't know how he
Yep.
uses it, how he's able to control it, what it does. There's a whole plethora of
Well, I mean,
problems with his.
we
We do
know how
figure
he
out how it
controls it.
works.
Yeah, we know how he controls it. Just because it doesn't make sense doesn't mean they don't explain. Like it's a bad explanation, but they still explain it.
It is bad.
Yeah,
It is a
it's
bad.
bad. It's a bad explanation, but you can't say that they don't explain that. They do. It's a
Yeah.
bad one, but they still explain it
They do explain it.
How does
because
he
he's
do it again?
focusing on like his.
How does he do it
He's
again?
focusing on his friends.
Not
He's
his
focusing on
brother,
his
not
friends.
his dad, none of that stuff, just his friends.
Nope.
Yep.
Yep. Told you. It's a bad explanation, but they do
It is
explain
a very
Okay.
bad explanation.
All
Yeah.
right, as long as you admit it's a
Yeah.
bad explanation, that's
No, yeah,
Yeah,
no,
that's
yeah,
a-
yeah.
Yeah, it's not the greatest explanation, but they explain it. So.
No, they do, yeah.
Which I
Well-
feel like they do a lot. They don't give
Yeah.
good explanations, but they explain it.
They Dave Filoni it.
crappy explanations all throughout. So
I wouldn't say all throughout.
for the most part,
I think another
I'd say
thing
it's about a
that-
50-50.
I'd say it's
I
about
think
a
another
90-10.
Yeah,
I
would.
think it's about 2015.
No, it's 2023.
All right.
But there is something I don't get.
Yeah, good.
What?
The books.
Oh yeah, that was like a weird thing.
Yeah, because
They
it was
both wrote-
like
They both wrote it.
OB wrote Professor
Luke.
Timely's book.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a paradox.
Loop logic. That's the way the show seems to kind
That
of
was
be
yeah.
going. It's loop
So
logic.
like because so the loop is OB writes the book off of Professor Timely?
So Obi writes the book, but he's basing it off of Victor Timely's like what Victor Timely has told him. But Victor Timely
Okay.
only knows it because he read the book by OB. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That
it's a
kind of
problem.
makes sense.
It does not.
I mean,
No, it's a loop.
yeah, it's a loop. It's a time.
They
loop
wrote
thing,
the book for each other.
Which is a stupid.
which
It is, but that's what happened.
yeah. But I'd say this was a good. I don't know how I'd put it. I think I'd put it. It's about on par with the
What
first
makes
season
it
for
good?
me.
I guess
just
what
think
makes it good? What makes it good? Because we've said a whole bunch of bad stuff. I want to know what makes it good.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess what
So
makes it
what?
good, because I
Oh,
must be missing
so
something, because
good.
you
Yeah.
guys gave it
Good,
8s
okay.
and 7s when I gave it a 3, and all we've done
Me.
is kind of listed problems.
So me.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things I liked about this was Mobius's character. I think Mobius's character grew throughout the show, and I think we got to learn a lot about him. Where he came from, why he does what he does, what he likes. like he liked the jet ski thing in season 1, and in season 2 we realized why he likes jet skis is because he sold them and he had a passion for selling them. We found out that he was a dad who was seeming, it looks like to me, he was a by himself dad who had 2 loving boys, and he had to risk so much to leave his 2 boys to go to the TVA or even just get pulled to the TVA.
I'm gonna stop you right there. He got abducted into the TVA. That's how they
Yeah.
owned it. They were variants.
Yeah, that
Oh,
And
Mobius
also-
dang
never
it.
that Mobius never went.
Yeah.
Because Loki
Yeah,
saved it from
also,
that stuff ever happening.
um,
So like basically see episodes
But it was
4 and
weird-
5 basically
it was
never happened.
weird-
Hey, before we get into like some stuff, Mobius on a jet ski. This is so great.
Yeah.
This is so great. This is so great. Anyway.
That was awesome. I was
They
like,
get- they-
yeah, Mobius is on a jet ski. Let's go.
Marvel gave us like a 10-minute version. It's amazing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's so funny.
Oh, that's awesome. Anyway,
It
But
is
no.
exactly what it is him on a jet ski for 10 minutes with the music just looping. It's
oh,
so fun.
that's awesome. But no,
Yeah.
I really like
Sounds
I really
stupid
like
as
how we
frick.
got to. I know, but I really like how we got to like see Mobius's character because this guy was willing to like in the show, not in like when he was in TVA. He was willing to give up everything just so that way he can go and help this random guy out that he doesn't even know. But it was really cool how that worked. It was really cool to see that and how it
Yeah,
worked.
He
Yeah, that was
wasn't
cool.
going
Like
to.
how
The
he-
fact that he was no, the
He-
fact that he was able that the fact that he said, "Hey, I'm doing this, but I need the promise that I will be back with my boys."
Yeah.
That was
yeah,
cool.
that was cool. Yeah, I like
The fact that he was willing to drop everything. Like imagine having 2 boys of your own. Would you be willing to drop everything you're doing and go help out this random person that's from the future?
He
Or
didn't
from a
do
time
that.
you don't even know. He did in the
he
show.
did. Yes, he did. Yes,
He
he did.
did it
He
only
did in the
because
show.
Loki said his boys were in danger. That's the only reason why he did it.
Everyone was in danger.
Yeah.
That's the way Loki convinced him. It wasn't
But no,
because
the fact
he all of a
the
sudden
fact-
had
Yeah,
a
I mean-
random act of kindness of let's go help a stranger.
no, but the fact
It-
of the matter is
it
he
kinda
was willing
was.
to go do that.
No,
Well,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
he was
Ethan's
willing
right.
to
It kinda
go
He wasn't
because this guy
forced.
was saying, "Hey, your boys are in danger. Do you want to save them?"
I mean, yeah, he
Okay.
could have. Hold on,
He
patience.
could have said no still. Like
Yeah, he could have taken that time to spend time with his boys because he didn't know if he was surviving, but he chose to go and help Loki in the hopes that they would save the universe. Yeah, it wasn't a guaranteed plan because that's what was said. They said it
I'm
wasn't
confused.
guaranteed.
A random
plan.
stranger-
Okay. I'm
no,
confused.
Payson, hold on. A random stranger comes up to you and says, "Oh, hey, John, your name's not John, right?"
Yeah, this is a weird part to
Yeah,
get stuck
it's
up.
weird.
But
It would be you
I
would
think-
think that guy's crazy, right?
I think Ethan's right. I think it shows like because we don't get a lot of Mobius's character in season 1, which I thought was like interesting because like we didn't need it. Obviously, he was a side character, but it was nice to get that, and it was nice to get that with a lot of them. But you kind of got it with all of them, but you mostly got it with Mobius, which I liked that they stuck to like the person that
I
they
like how
kinda
you like
started
this,
with.
but this character isn't even Mobius, and doesn't ever become Mobius. So
He does.
no, he doesn't.
He is.
Yeah, he does.
No, he doesn't.
It's the exact same. It is the exact same person, Mason.
No, the person is Mobius, but he's like in a different.
It's-
I guess it's like
it's
a different
Mo-
setting.
It's Mobius before he went into the TVA, so you're seeing who he is, like who he was, and like the type of person that he was. So you're
Yeah.
building off of that.
You get to see his characteristics. You don't get to see everything. I don't.
So you get to see like who he was as a person,
Yeah.
not in like what he was able, like what his interests were in, who he was as a person, but you don't get. It's weird to explain.
Yeah.
No,
I
I
just-
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, explain it
But
to
it
me
was-
because
it
I'm
was-
missing
I just-
something.
Okay, so you get to see what his reaction to things were. And you get to see, oh, this is why he's such like a fatherly figure to Loki. Like you get to see a fatherly figure from Loki, like from more Mobius to Loki, and I just thought that was cool.
He really doesn't need that.
No, I liked it. It's a weird thing to like, but like you can like it. Like I get what I get what you're saying, but yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on that because
Fatherly
in my
figure.
opinion,
Do
that's
we
Okay.
not.
need? Do you want more stuff that I
And
like?
He acted more like a
yeah,
big
yeah.
brother to Loki than a father figure.
I'm really happy you said that, and that was very cute, Payson.
Aw. Anyway,
Don't
Because
make
you're
um,
this gay.
you're a
Really
big
don't
brother.
make this gay.
you have more positives, Ethan.
I really liked the ending and how that creates a kind of
Yes.
mystery to it.
Yeah, I think they did that
Because
really well.
we honest like Payson, could you tell me what happened at the end,
No.
bit by bit, word for word?
Oh yeah, I can.
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay. So Loki is somehow able to go through the temporal stuff that previously eradicated Victor Timely and is able to fix everything by holding branches that are expanding in infinite and expanding in infinity.
Okay.
You want me
How
to
the frick
Do you
is
break this down?
someone able to
All right.
You
grab
want me,
infinite
you want me to break this
branches?
down? You want me
All right,
to?
Thomas, go.
All right. So here we go. Let's get into this. So
Yay.
so we start off with how he gets through and he goes in and he gets the powers from um He Who Remains. That's not really explained, but it is what it is. We got that. And so he starts off, he's like he has this whole conversation he has had centuries, which I thought was really
Should
cool.
I be taking
Talking
notes,
to
sir? Is there going to be a quiz?
Yes.
I got to
10,
know
10
these
questions.
things.
10
I
question quiz at the end of the.
mean, you don't know and you asked, so you
Well,
want that
yeah.
explanation or not?
Yeah, because it sucked in the
Okay.
show so much that I must have missed it. I'll take notes
Apparently you
this
did.
time. About
Yeah, this is what.
explanations not given. I'll take notes.
All right. Well,
Thomas is trying to
never mind.
explain it, Payson. Let him
I
explain.
know. And then he said, I know it's not explained, but Loki has these powers. Okay, I'm taking notes.
No, we know he got them from like we know we got them
Yeah,
from He Who Remains,
you can,
and we
yeah.
know how he works.
Yeah. But we don't know how he got him. Or why he
We
got
got
him.
it
Or
from
how it was
we
given. We don't know.
we got it. He got it from He Who
I
Remains.
Yeah, but we don't
Payson.
know how he
Pay,
gave it to him.
We
Payson, we
don't
shut
need
up for
to
like
know. We just
5
need to know
seconds.
that he got
Payson,
We
them
kind of
from
need to
He Who
both
know.
of
Remains.
you,
Because if Kane
both
can
of
do
you shut up.
this,
Why? How?
well, if Kane can
How?
do this,
Why should we
Both
know?
of you shut up. Both of you shut up, please. For the love of God,
why
both
do
of
we
you
need to
shut
know?
up.
This
God
guy
damn.
is the
All
big
right.
bad of every phase coming later. And he's able to do
Jesus
this
Christ.
with
Okay.
some random guy that he met that day.
Yep.
Are
Because
you
And
done?
he
he
didn't
liked
beat
them. I don't know.
Ant-Man.
Are you done?
Okay.
I
Payson,
guess
are you done?
so. I guess so. Yes, ma'am. I'll go back to taking notes. I'll stop asking questions. I'll wait until later.
Yeah, shut up,
Yeah,
news
wait
reporter.
till after so I can explain it. You freaking
Okay.
moron. God dang.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
All
I'm
right.
sorry.
So
Yeah, this is
I
I'm sorry.
this is the national debate for Pete's sake.
I'm
no,
sorry.
obviously
Come on, bro. You gotta do
I'm
better.
sorry. I
No.
thought a good question is like a
Go!
good question, but apparently it's not. Okay, you were saying.
Pacey, you can't ask a question until you
I
have a
know.
question.
Well, I can't ask a question if it's not explained well or at all. So I'll keep.
Anyway, all right, Thomas, go.
All right, I was agreeing with you. It wasn't explained well, but I'm saying like we already made that point, so I didn't think the need to rehash it. That they don't explain things well, such as the time thing and his
I
powers.
did it mainly
Already
because it
told
was
that to you.
funny.
I so we start off. Loki gets weird powers from He Who Remains. Not really like a great explanation of that, but like that's how he gets it. And so he's going through all this time where he's like, all right, so we gotta solve this, we gotta solve this. Oh, it's unsolvable. I didn't really like that because like you see him spend all this time, but it doesn't bother me like that much. And so we get into it where like he's going through and he's like, and the scene where he's talking to He Who Remains was great, where he's like, what if I changed the equation? That was a good thing. And so, or you rewrite the story. I don't know what he said, but it was, I think he said both of those actually. But, and then we see him go through after like figuring out what he needs to do and actually doing it. And I think that was really well done. And so we see a lot of like references to Loki in the past with the for you, for all of us, when he says that to Sylvie, he also says that to Odin in the first Thor. We also see a lot of other references as well. We get him going through the process of like just one of the greatest character arcs like I've seen personally. It's up there with Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's not that great, but it's like up there. And so we see him from going to like just wanting to rule, wanting what he thinks is his glorious purpose, to then and he thinks, oh, this is going to be such a great thing. And then we see him go on and continue from how keeps wanting it. Thor Ragnarok, he's like, maybe I don't want that, but he doesn't really get to fill that out because, oh, he's dead in Infinity War. But then, season 1 of Loki, we see how, oh, season 1 and season 2, we see how, oh, maybe he just wants friends, which, you might think that's like a silly cop out answer based on that doesn't make sense. I really like that. And so we see how he wants that, and he's in denial of, oh, I just want like order and stability. No. And then he like kind of like just comes clean. It's like, I just want my friends back. And so we see that. And like that's kind of the basis for the finale. He wants his friends back. He's doing all this to get his friends back. And then he realizes the only way for them to truly be back is for him to be isolated alone, holding on to the infinite timelines. And I think that was really good. It was a really good just story, and it was really good like arc. Not story wise for like everyone, but just for like Loki alone as he goes through that. I think that was really well done. And so we get through that. Some highlights probably from Loki were just the references that we get through like the World Tree of Life at the end where he's just holding it together and he's just like keeping everything in a good state, and he's like holding on and he's seeing every timeline and he's seeing all his friends like live their lives and he's stuck there permanently. That's why I'm saying it should resonate. Like he should be stuck there like for a good while. Like we shouldn't see him for like at least another like year or so, in my opinion. So like it kind of just resonates like the sacrifice, and it's not like a cop out answer. But yeah, we get that and how he's just like going through that. So that's like the ending where like we see, and so you're like, oh, how does he do all this time stuff? Well, that's because he's mastered like the time slipping, and also because he's a freaking god. Why didn't he do it before? I'm gonna be honest, I don't know why he didn't do it before, but he did it now, and I like that scene. And because he actually realized what he needed to do, and in the end he didn't know what he needed to do, and probably because the loom was actually destroyed. And so yeah, I like this. One of the best scenes of the show was probably the finale where he's talking to Mobius, finding out who lives and who dies, and how he's supposed to fix that. And that's when he gets the realization that he knows what he needs to do, and then he does it. And then the scene where he's actually doing it, where he's grabbing all the branches and just pulling them up, and he's finally sitting on his throne. But contrary to what he wants in Thor, it is the last, like, all he wants in Avengers Thor, like, all he wants is a throne. Now it's the last thing he wants, but that's when he gets it. And so I think that's really cool on how, like, it just shows that character development. And I'm a big character development guy, so, like, that's a really big thing. So obviously, I point out the show has problems, but that's why it's like a really big highlight for me, and that's probably like one of my biggest reasons. And there's other stuff too, like different characters and different things that we see with them and how like the story kind of builds on the other season, just not really that well. Like they could have done way better on the like building for the season wise. Because like, it just feels like I said earlier, it just feels like two different books, not just like the same book. But yeah, yeah, you can go ahead and say all you want now, Payson.
So I disagree with you on basically all of that.
All right. Why?
Okay,
I
well,
assume
for
you're gonna
the
get tell
first
me.
one, thank you for letting me speak. The first one, I would say, you talk about how you love the character arc of Loki and everything and all that, blah 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 blah. But that character arc is ruined by the show.
Also,
Okay, his character arc in the Infinity Saga, as it were, was him essentially at the beginning of Thor, ignoring, having a lust for power, wanting to essentially earn the respect of his father and brother because he feels like he's the redheaded stepchild of the family. He's not really. He feels like he's never acknowledged
the
or loved by his father or brother at all.
the middle sibling, so to speak. Ethan. Did he leave?
He was going through this until finally by Ragnarok, he actually gets some acknowledgement from his dad as an Odinson, even after all the stuff that he had done. After you kind of see him grieving over his mother and Loki in this, Loki grieving over his mother in Thor 2 when his mom dies due to the Dark Elves. You see all that. You see his character develop until finally by Infinity War, you see like him accepting being Odin's son, accepting the family that he's a part of, and you get to see that character change from Thor all the way to Infinity War when he dies. You see him going from being the selfish little brat who wants to get who's honestly pawning for his brother and father's affection and wanting the power that he thinks he rightfully deserves, to being willing to throw that all away in order to save his brother. And you get to see Thor undergo all this stuff. All that's thrown away because they wanted to make a TV show. And that character no longer is the same character. You get a Cliff Notes version of that character because they want to hurry up and want to play nostalgia berries on you and make you think this is that same character from Infinity War when it's not. It should be the 2014 version. So it is explained, but it's explained badly in Loki season 1. And that kind of plays over into Loki season 2, where this character, who should be a very narcissistic Loki because of his whole thing in Avengers, and he hasn't undergone any of the stuff, as he never mentions any of the stuff that he had undergone in said other.
Yeah. So I get what you're saying with that, but I think I'm not gonna like go. I don't think you've just seen season 1 recently, because like when you look at season 1, he's going through that. So you see first episode, you start off the bat, he's looking at his whole life. Like that's what he's doing. So he's seeing how his choices basically caused the death of his mom, and then that led on to like everything that's happening to where eventually he sacrifices himself to Thanos. And like he sees like that's how his story is supposed to end, and you see that. And then you see him further, but he still goes to that character development all throughout season 1, to where he's probably like a more selfless character in about season 2 when, well, actually, hold on, I take that back. Where he's a more developed character in season 2, not selfless, because like his whole reason is that he wants his friends back, which is kind of selfish, but like it's an understandable selfishness, and it's like a justified. Anyway, so we see, how it's, yeah, you're right, it's not the same Loki, but I don't think like for a second they're trying to make you think that, because as I'm watching it, I'm just like, you're seeing how he is 2014 New York Avengers Loki, because he is arrogant. He is like he likes talking a lot, trying to get like the TVA and Mobius to like listen to him and stuff when he's like lying to their face. He's doing very Loki things, and so you're seeing that character arc. So I mean, you can make the argument like, oh, they're just showing the same character arc twice, which they kind of are,
I wouldn't
and
say it's
that's
the
a
same
weird decision
character
on
arc. I wouldn't say it's the same character arc. I'd say it's a very watered down, very crappy version of the character arc, because he goes from being this guy who was wanting power and was wanting the affection from his brother, from his dad, and you could argue from his mom, even though he kind of still loved them, he was wanting that affection and didn't realize that they loved him as family, even though he didn't quite see that. It's one of those things where they ruin all that because it throws Thor and Odin right out of the picture immediately. And so now all he's got is wanting for power. And so what he should have been doing this whole time is going and helping the timeline, but fixing it in a way that it benefits him. And that could have been interesting, to have him mischievously doing stuff to the timeline that makes it benefit him more so than one would think. but still playing it off as like he's being the good guy. That'd be something more in line with what his character in 2014. This character,
To be fair, that is what he does in the first 2 episodes, where he's going along with the TVA just so he
yes,
can get to
but
meet his other
he is
self.
poor. It is poorly. His character is poorly written. The way that he is taken out is poorly written. The way that his character undergoes that development is poorly written, to the point where,
Also,
well, I haven't seen season 1 in a while, so bear with me here, but he is punched by the black lady at the beginning of his show when he is a Norse god and would know a little bit better than that.
I don't see how that's.
Well,
I'm
they
sorry, what?
automatically decide to make him look like a fool right off the bat, which kind of shows you how the show is going to go.
I mean, that is the entire point of the TVA.
To make you look like a fool?
No, it's just they're showing that it's a higher power. That's the whole point. That's why you see the Infinity Stones as paperweights in the first season. They're showing that
That's
there's
already a
a way
problem
higher
anyway.
deal. There's a way higher deal than whatever he was going on before, and that's when you realize this stuff. So making him look a little bit like a fool works, but then he still does Loki things where like he's figuring out things that they aren't. So he's smarter than most all of them anyway, because he's figuring out things that they aren't about how they're using apocalypses and stuff. So he's still doing all these things. So I don't think that's a throwaway of his character, and I also don't think that it's really affecting season 2 as much because season 2 is still built off season 1. I think season 1 is fine, but yeah, like I said, I said it once, I'll say it again. Season 2 doesn't build off season 1 that well, like as well as they were like kind of announcing. So
I don't know how you can like season 1 when season 1 is basically all about Sylvie.
not really, to be honest.
It kind of
Mostly
is.
about Loki. Mm-hmm.
Kind of is about Sylvie for the most part.
I'm a little bit over halfway I'm a little bit over halfway of rewatching season 1, and it is we still know like barely anything about Sylvie's backstory because we're just talking about Loki. Sylvie's like a part of it, but it's like she's still very much a side character.
Until
And
about
then
episode
but
3 or 4, I
but
think, where
but
she
even,
becomes the focal point and Loki seems to become the side character.
but even if that's a
But yeah,
problem, they
go
don't
ahead.
do that in season. They don't do that in season 2.
No, in
So
season
that
2,
should make season 2 better.
they actually keep Loki they keep Loki the main focal point for the most part, with everybody else kind of acting more so like side characters. However, a lot of these characters are still annoying.
Sylvie's annoying, 100%. She's making all the bad choices, and we're still they try to make her a likable character, and then she's not, and then they just make her do all the bad choices. A lot of your issues, I don't disagree with, but I guess that's just like it's a personal thing because I still really like the show, but yeah. I don't know. All that
Yeah,
stuff
and I
being
guess
said,
this is the one time where I'm okay with you disagreeing with me. That's never been a problem. But this time it feels better than Ahsoka in as far as the discussion goes, because at least this time you're not like ignoring stuff that happened in the show. You're actually acknowledging some of the stuff, like, yeah, this is problematic, but I still liked it. I still like the show anyway. Whereas Ahsoka, you were kind of ignoring some stuff. But I do like this discussion a little bit better, despite the little
I don't think
me making
I
fun of
don't
you a
think I
little
was
bit in the
ignoring.
tantrum.
I don't.
Car
I
isn't
don't.
a weapon, Thomas.
Jesus Christ. I don't think I was ignoring stuff in Ahsoka. I just didn't really see it as a problem, and you kind of failed to explain it as such.
Car isn't
But
a weapon,
anyway,
Thomas.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Galactic Reviews, and join us next time on Galactic Reviews.
and go watch me. Go watch me. Go watch me.
Yeah, go watch
Check out my
Thomas
channel.
on the
Oh,
Real
wait.
Guys podcast. So
Bye.